Hello, I'm Tyler, and this is another Dororo review. Now, one thing I want to mention before we start is something I failed to mention last time. Hayakimaru actually does have a leg. It's not what he got when he defeated Bandai. He had it throughout the entire episode. I just failed to mention that. Though that would mean Hayakimaru has faced a demon before in order to gain his leg back. Now, this actually does make sense since he seems to be very much aware of the fact that the beings with the red aura are evil, though he might have some other senses that allow him to figure that out. But it seems like he has a vendetta to specifically go after the beings with red auras. So it seems like he has somewhat of an idea of how to get back his body parts. It would make sense that he would already have something back prior to the start of the series, and it appears that the thing that he has, or at least that we know of, is his leg. I wonder, though, how that exactly works, because presumably, however that word is pronounced, each 1 to 16 demons will have something, like, of Hayakimaru's. When he killed, Deki, he got his face back. And when he killed, Bandai, he got, I'm not sure what he got. I believe nervous system. That's what I want to say. We'll find out in this episode, obviously. But I don't know how it works, with the limbs. Because, when it comes to the limbs, he has, the bone, muscle tissue, and the skin and anything else that goes along with all that. I'm not good at anatomy or much of anything. So if he kills a demon, does that mean he gets the entire leg back all at once, or is it he kills one demon and he gets his bones back? Then he kills another demon, then he gets the muscle tissue back. Then he kills another demon and he gets the skin back. And let's just get on with the review / recap, because let's be honest, it's basically what it is. Okay, I'll stop now. Okay, so our opening, it's interesting. So we basically once again see the fact that the land is in war, that the country is in war, whatever. And we see a lot of bodies and whatnot, which is we have been seeing that in the last 2 episodes. That's not really that big of a deal. I mean, it is, but you get what I'm saying. But then we see a man take someone and crucify him along with a bunch of other people. And this man appears to be Jukai, the same guy that's putting prosthetic limbs on people. So, what? I am so confused. And not only was he crucifying people, but he was also cutting off their ears and fingers and all that stuff. I mean, as you do. I mean, I was watching this and I was like, wait, is that Jukai? I'm pretty sure it's Jukai. Isn't he the dude that puts, limbs back on people, not taking them off? Maybe he takes them off people so he can put them on people. Brilliant. Brilliant marketing scheme right there. Also, a woman gets stabbed, and I'm pretty sure Jukai stabbed her, but I was so, in a, what's going on? That I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure it was Jukai. Oh, and in the end, just to, the icing on the top of the freaking cake here, he jumps off of a cliff. So, yeah, that happened. That happened. So my guess here is that we are going to have a backstory. The whole thing I went through with Hayakimaru's leg could be brought up too in this. But I'm going to guess, right off the bat here, I've already said in, I think, the past 2 videos I know I said in the last video, that Jukai is probably the one responsible for giving Hayakimaru his prosthetics. And okay, so we have our title card, and it is in fact the story of Jukai. So like I said, I'm going with backstory here, though maybe this is legitly a marketing ploy by Jukai. Like, he just cuts off the limbs and puts the prosthetics on, and people who lost their limbs naturally will buy the prosthetics. Genius marketing ploy. So we start in a small village. Now, the first thing that we will notice in the beginning scene here is that the scene is in grayscale. Once again, going with the whole idea that this is most likely a flashback and not current events. But we see Jukai in a small village, and he is giving prosthetics to people. Like, not the dead, like, actual, like, patients. He is a doctor, and people are coming in to see him, and he is giving prosthetics to them. And it appears he's giving away for free. So, if I would have to guess about, like, a chronologically time events here, the beginning event is, how Jukai was before, and, also, I stated that the woman that was running towards him, I wasn't sure who stabbed her. There are other men there. We don't see them, though, but we do hear them. I didn't realize this at first, and that's why I didn't say that. But I did rewatch it, so I'm just going to just throw it in there now. But there actually were other men, and you can actually hear them talking. And it appears that Jukai was part of some sort of group that was, that basically was punishing any person that would rebel. Against who, we don't know, but just rebel. And the woman that was trying to stop him seemed to have been his wife, as she was calling him dear. And it was someone else who stabbed her, and it was her death that caused him to try to kill himself. After surviving, he turned over a new leaf. Instead of punishing people, he became a doctor. That's just my guess here, but let's continue watching. Kaname, who appears to be Jukai's apprentice, someone who Jukai took in when he was younger and even helped him by giving him his own prosthetic leg, finds a woman with a child whose arm has been cut off. After taking the child to Jukai, the woman mentions that she was afraid of how Jukai would be due to rumors about him. And we see Kaname confronting Jukai about this, asking if it were true if he worked for a man called Lord Shiba. Now, okay, so yes, the opening scene is prior to these events, and what is going on now is him trying to, in a sense, atone for what he's done in the past, although he does recognize that he's done so horrible things that he does not think he actually could ever atone. However, because he lived when he feels like he should have died, he feels like there's a reason why he's alive, and something he has to do. Kaname reveals that his father was actually killed during the war. Kaname attempts to stab Jukai, however, he is unable to do so. He claims it's so Jukai can finish the prosthetic arm for the child, but we see a flashback showing when Jukai helped him Kaname when he was a child. In Kaname's mind, Jukai was probably like the one that killed his father, but at the same time, he was raised by Jukai, and Jukai is like father to him as well, so he's obviously very conflicted here. Okay, so even after Jukai finishes the prosthetic arm, Kaname does not kill him. He does, however, take off his prosthetic leg, and he leaves Jukai. He does not want the prosthetic leg because he does not want Jukai to be his salvation, as he puts it. So he leaves Jukai, and Jukai is very broken up by this. He's very distraught, which, he found this kid at a very young age, and he raised him. It's basically his son. It's like he's lost his son, so it makes sense that he's distraught. And there it is, the moment Jukai meets Hayakimaru, or I guess at this point, the skinless infant, or whatever you want to call him. The boat comes up and just docks right where Jukai is. He sees the baby, doesn't think that it's alive at first, but sees that clearly is, and he is brought to tears by its desire to live. Also, probably to get a second chance of what he failed with Kaname. most likely. So we skipped to 1 year later after this event, and we are actually now with Daigo, whose second son has been born. This, of course, is Todomaru, I believe. What's his name, right? Tohomaru? Tohomaru. Anyways, it's his second son, and Daigo he's a fucking psycho. I mean, his second son's born, and he's like, this is my heir, and he's laughing all maniacally and shit. Like, really? This woman should really leave that. We still don't know the wife's name either, which bugs me. We then skip 6 years later, where we see a young boy with all prosthetic limbs. This is Hayakimaru. So yeah, we get to see a young 6-year-old Hayakimaru. Also, we can actually use this scene for sort of, I guess, comparison for Dororo, because I've actually wondered how old Dororo was, and Hayakimaru here actually looks to be the same age as Dororo is currently. So Dororo is probably about 6 years old. Just a little side note I decided to add in there. So, Hayakimaru's first demon has shown up. It believes to be some sort of giant weasel with large claws. Most likely, Koma Itachi? Is that what they're called? Like the scythe weasel. That's the English version. I'm trying to think of what the Japanese version of it is called. I believe it's Koma Itachi, isn't it? Or Kami Itachi. Kamitachi. Right? Kamitachi. But yeah, it's like one of those scythe weasel things. And it attacks. It's most likely one of our demons. I mean, I don't think it could be anything else. So we might actually learn how he got his leg back in this flashback as well. That's cool. Well, more demons show up. Of course, they don't actually attack him. They're just kind of there. And Jukai realizes that he can't always be there to protect Hayakimaru, so it appears like he's going to train him to fight, and this is probably going to be how Hayakimaru learns how to wield a sword in the first place. At the same time, we learn that Tohomaru is also learning how to wield a sword as well. So we get a training montage with Jukai and Hayakimaru, and followed by a time skip. We do not know how far in the time skip is. We don't know if he's like 16 yet, or if he's a little younger than that, or what. But we can see that through that time frame, he has efficiently learned how to use the sword, and we do see him slaying various different creatures, but I'm pretty sure they're just all kind of like giant animals. I don't think any of them are demons. At least it doesn't seem like he's gained anything back. I'm pretty sure the demon that he's going to slay to get back, most likely his leg, is that weasel demon that we've seen earlier. Jukai states that because Hayakimaru cannot feel pain, he cannot feel fear, and because of that, he does not hesitate when cutting something down, and he's afraid that he might have made the wrong decision in teaching Hayakimaru how to use the sword in the first place, which makes sense because, you don't want him cutting down what he can't, but he shouldn't be cutting down. Obviously, he's going to have to try in some way to teach Hayakimaru to only cut down things that are not negative, that are negative. Crap. Only cut down the good things. So, basically, Hayakimaru's gonna have to learn to only cut down things that are red, not like white or yellow, I guess, if you're going to back from the last episode. But most likely, just teach him, if it's red, go ahead, cut it down. Go for it. Probably going to be the learning thing here, but how that's going to happen, let's find out. Okay, so I was wrong about the weasel being the only demon that Hayakimaru slays. He does slay a different demon, and he does, however, gain his leg back because he slayed it, but it does not appear that he has gained the skin to the leg back. Now, in the last episode, when we do see he has an actual leg, you can clearly see that there is skin there, so, and the weasel's most likely coming back, so the weasel demon might be the demon that's going to get his skin to the leg back, and I'm just going to chalk it up to coincidence. I mean, it appears that the muscle tissue and the bone were both grown back at the same time when slaying this other demon, but the weasel demon might give him the skin to the leg back. And them just happening to be in the same location for him to do this, I'm just going to chalk it up to coincidence. Because like I said, it seems like a demon has a specific body part. The demon that has his leg will always be the demon that has his leg. The demon that has his face will always be the demon that has his face. It's not like if he slayed the demon that had his face, he'll get his leg, or if he slayed the demon that had his leg, he'd get his face. Does that make sense? Probably not. Let's just continue. So Jukai creates Hayakimaru's arm swords, which of course is the best origin ever. The origin of the arm swords. And then he sends Hayakimaru on his way, venture out to gain back his lost body parts. Jukai states that he cannot go with him because he would be in his way if he did so. And Hayakimaru is also wearing the same exact outfit he's wearing when we meet him. So I don't know if that, like, I was going to say that might mean that this directly leads into the first episode when we first see him walking through the woods, but at the same time it might not, because Hayakimaru might not actually change his clothes or anything like that, because he might not actually be able to. Okay, so now we are back in the present. We are with Hayakimaru, Dororo, and the blind man. He is still there, and Dororo and the blind man are discussing, what happened to Hayakimaru, or speculating what happened to him. And they're essentially, the blind man is the one basically saying his thoughts on it, and he is basically right that it is because a deal was made with demons, causing him to lose his body parts and whatnot. And it is revealed that the thing that Hayakimaru got back was in fact his ability to feel like pain. So that would be the nervous system. The nervous system is what allows you to feel pain. Whether if it's more specific than that, I don't know, but I'm going to keep going with nervous system here. But yeah, he can feel pain now. And that is it. Our ending card is of the Kama Itachi, which is actually the Kama Itachi. I mean, not specifically named. Well, I guess it is, but you know what I mean. Like, just named after what it literally is. We do not get a name of the other demon, though I'm kind of realizing that it might have been the same exact demon. Like, the Kama Itachi and the Tongue demon, or whatever you want to call it, might literally be the same thing, and maybe that was like an alternate form of it. That, or we just don't know the other demon's name. I was going to state that maybe the Kama Itachi was not a demon, but was actually just another giant animal, because we do see giant animals later in the episode. But since it's on the ending card, it was most likely a demon, because it seems like the ending cards are just like to give the names of the demon of the episode, but we don't get the name of the second demon, so they might have been the same demon. I don't know. But yeah, that is the end. This episode was basically, as you've seen, was a flashback story explaining how Jukai came to raise Hayakimaru, and how Hayakimaru learned how to use a sword, got his sword arms, prosthetics, all of that. It's basically origin story. Honestly, this was probably, to me, this was an interesting episode. But it was also, to me, it was a little on the boring side. I think a lot of it was because they decided to do grayscale for a lot of the episode. I don't know, grayscale just never really was a big thing I was into, and it just kind of makes the show a little boring to me. But I thought the episode was interesting, don't get me wrong. I liked learning about Hayakimaru. I also liked that I was right. That's always nice. But, yeah, if I were to do a rewatch of Dororo, like, this would probably be an episode I would skip. Not that I don't recommend watching it. It was a really good episode for what it was. I'm just saying that if the entire series were to come out and it was a long series and I would just want to watch certain episodes, this probably wouldn't be one of the ones I would choose. But yeah, I liked it. It was good. So yeah, there you go. That was the review / react, whatever you want to call it. Comment, like, subscribe, share, whatever, all that stuff. No one's probably going to even get to this part of the video. Oh well. Well, that's all. I'll see you when I see you. Bye.